So I love the healing metaphor of the butterfly that turns into goo as it's a caterpillar and then sits in the chrysalis and then sheds the chrysalis and then like emerges as this beautiful butterfly with wings. And often we think of healing that way, that like once we get through this healing, then all the pain will stop and we'll be these beautiful evolved butterflies. But we've been talking about how healing isn't like this linear horizontal trajectory of like devolved evolution, healing, and completion. It's actually like you shed skin to become something new, and that shedding is friggin' painful AF and it's uncomfortable, and then you become this new version of yourself, you evolve, and then you have to shed more.
Right. It's just a continuous cycle. Like you're just going to always be elevating up and up. If you're doing all the work that you need to do, then you're going to get to those plateaus, at the top of the hill, but then you look beyond that and yet there's another one to climb.
Yeah.
And it's just continuous. So I think it's an amazing journey, but you have to be willing to fight through the skin or through the shedding of the past in order to move forward and open up space for the new.
Yeah, like we were talking about how before I met him, I had gotten out of a narcissistic relationship and I had shed that old skin of putting up with toxic behavior and mistreatment and breadcrumbs to be chosen. And I shed that, and then I manifested him, and I became a better person. I became a more confident person, and I thought I was on top of the world, and I still am on top of the world because I love you and we're getting married. But and I called him in, which was an amazing reward for the transformation. However, then I started to look around at my surroundings and the people that were around me, comparing the love that they were giving me or lack of love they were giving me to the love he's giving me. And I started to realize, I have to shed more relationships because I've evolved so much that I will not accept that type of treatment. And I have to, and it makes space then for like the new to come in, but that's uncomfortable and painful because it's a loss and it's a shedding.
Right. And I think we're looking at the fact that our energy is so high within our relationship, and the love that we feel for one another allows you to look back at different types of relationships, whether they're past love relationships or past friendships or current friendships or family or coworkers or bosses or anything that there might be that now is not on that same level or that same vibe that we're currently experiencing in our relationship.
Of unconditional love.
Right, which with our theme of always lead with love. And when we're not feeling that, then it allows you to wait. It's like you pull it out there and throw it in the air, and you're 360 looking at it and analyzing and saying, wait a minute, there's so many pieces to this and that weren't good for me, that were toxic, that weren't the type of relationships or people that I want to surround myself.
They were survival mechanisms. Like so much of our personality is survival. And yeah, I think when you level up in love, you start to realize the relationships that you have all around you that were survival, that actually weren't serving you. And I think our relationship has allowed me to be like, I don't need those anymore.
Right.
So then you level up again. You level up in self-love, which that's what healing is. At the end of the day, it's self-love. But as you do that, you have to then shed those old relationships that meant something to you, but are at the end of the day not serving you.
Right. But I think it's also, even though it's hard to shed those and stuff, but you also have to look at it as positivity, because it's recognizing the good and the bad that you've experienced and dealt with within your life, and realizing that some relationships may have on the surface seemed like they were positive for you and what you needed during those time periods, but realistically they're not staying up with you in your current energy, vibe, and movement and evolution of who you are, as not only as an individual but as a couple, and that you're now demanding more out of your relationships, not just our relationship, but friend relationships, family relationships, because you're not willing to accept anything less. You're not willing to have toxicity in your life. You're not willing to be brought back down when you're at such a high and such a loving feeling. Then you want that surrounding. So I think
you're not in survival anymore.
Right.
You don't have to put
survival's
up
gone
with that. Yeah, but it's like The point is, each level of healing brings loss. Healing is not this end result. You're standing on the podium at the Olympics with the gold medal. I mean, you will have gold medals. You will have wins.
You are a gold medal.
You are a gold medal. You will have wins. However, along with the wins comes a lot of loss because you're shedding skin of your old life and your old personality.
Well, I would like, you just said the word loss, and, you know, going from my years of coaching sports and stuff, and I always use the analogy anytime that we'd have a loss in a game, and such as the L doesn't stand for loss, it stands for learning. And so I take that same concept into relationships and stuff. You're not losing something out of it, you're just learning from it, and you're growing from it, and you're gaining knowledge and experience from it, you know, so that you know how to proceed and not have those same patterns, or you know how to fix things, or you know how to do better and how to grow and become stronger.
It's almost like a graduation of sorts. Like,
right.
You've graduated from that relationship. You don't have to look at it as a loss. You can look at it as you've leveled up now and you've evolved out of that survival of that relationship, and it served its purpose, but you have graduated now.
Right.
And it's better to, at commencement, you walk out into the unknown. You've just finished something. You don't know where you're going. It can be uncomfortable, but it's also really exciting because you know you're on like the new frontier of like your new life.
Right. And it opens up doors, you know, because you're no longer having negative things occupy that space. So now your brain is more free to create.
Yeah.
It's more free to be goal oriented, have more direction, and have more focus on what it is that is important, and that is continuing your personal growth and your gains and leveling your life up to be what it is that you want.
You can fill it with this new vibe of love and creation, or whatever it is that you've evolved to. You now can fill that empty space that the old patterns have left behind because you've shed them with like what is more congruent with who you now are in your evolution.
Yeah, and it's such a great feeling to feel that and to be able to recognize that, so that nothing shines stronger than the love, right? Nothing is, people will feel that, and people will see that, and people will learn from you and grow from you as well, because they will be able to want to emulate what it is that you're bringing to them. So
yeah, if you want to jump in on more of these conversations, we go live every Wednesday evening at 7 Pacific Standard Time. So join us for our lives where we discuss relationships and evolution and manifestation and just living your best life.
I didn't know that I'd find my person, my heart.